prisoner took out 2 bleach pens and 2 packs of candy. He poured them into a plastic bag in a certain ratio. Then he poured table salt into it. Just like that, he made a simple bomb. Then he quickly stuffed the bomb into the transfer pipe. After that, he grabbed his hat and ran away fast. But what puzzled the prisoner was, even when his 2 slow teammates came in to hide, there was still no sound of the bomb from the pipe. He was just about to step up and check, but unexpectedly the bomb suddenly bounced back from the pipe, and it just happened to fall right into his teammates' hands. The 3 of them were so scared they didn't even dare to breathe, until the prisoner carefully twisted open the container's cap. They realized the plastic bag was wrapped too tight, which caused the bomb not to trigger, so the prisoner readjusted the bomb and stuffed the bomb back into the pipe again. Turns out this prisoner's name was George. He was an explosives expert. He had gone to jail before for being involved in a theft case. But why would he show up here when he was supposed to be in prison? It turned out a few days ago the Logan brothers found him. They wanted to plan a huge robbery with him, thinking that he was about to finish his sentence. George agreed to join them. First, he deliberately filled his stomach with water before the meal. Then he exercised like crazy. When his stomach was bloated and uncomfortable, he grabbed food and started wolfing it down. Finally, when the warden came to inspect, he deliberately threw up the vomit he'd been holding in. Then George and Clyde went to the bathroom. Then George took out the tools he had hidden in advance and quickly pried open the iron box. After the 2 crawled into the wall pipe, they put the iron box back in place. On the other side of the pipe was the tool room. Then the 2 put the prepared wooden crates under the car and hid themselves inside. That way they could avoid being spotted by the guard's mirror check. When the car arrived at the gas station, the 2 immediately got out of the crates, then went straight to the blue getaway car, and just like that completed the escape. But this was only the first step of their plan. At that moment their accomplices in prison saw the race begin. They immediately pretended to start a riot, and took the chance to tie up all the guards, using negotiating with the warden as an excuse, to buy time for George outside to rob the vault. At the same time, George and the other 2 also started their move. First they blew up the racetrack's card control room, making the manager think it was just an equipment failure. When all the players were forced to bet with cash, the vault would quickly be stacked with loads of cash. Then the 3 disguised themselves as maintenance workers, and quietly sneaked into the underground transport room of the racetrack. They just needed to blow a hole in the pipe connected to the vault, then use the ventilation system through the transfer pipes to suck out all the cash from the vault. Then George put the explosives he had assembled into the transfer pipe. After a loud explosion, they immediately turned on the giant vacuum and sucked all the vault's cash into garbage bins. To pull out the money faster, they even turned the suction to max, but the pipes started going out of control. But what they didn't know was, the smoke from the explosion had drifted along the pipes to the entrance. The transfer chute at the cashier's desk was instantly filled with smoke. The clerk upstairs saw this and knew something was wrong, so she immediately reported the abnormal situation. While the security guards came to search the basement, George and the others had already moved all the money out and used trash bags as cover. Jimmy drove the transport truck toward the gate, but unexpectedly ran right into the security guards coming to search. When the guard questioned the 2 if they smelled smoke, the brothers lied and said they lost their sense of smell when they were kids. Luckily the guard didn't suspect anything, and the 2 left the racetrack with the cash just like that. Then George and Clyde hurried back to the blue car. At the same time, their teammates in prison saw the planned time had come. They quickly grabbed the pencil lead from a guard, then clipped the lead onto a tissue, and stuck the lead into the socket, successfully lighting up the tissue in the trash can. Finally they put the trash can under the smoke detector. When the firefighters responded to the alarm, George and Clyde disguised themselves as firefighters and took the chance to jump on the fire truck and return to prison. After the alarm was cleared, the nurse immediately came to check the ward, but George had already changed clothes and was lying in bed. That's how George perfectly created his alibi. But that day the TV reported a piece of news, saying that racetrack money was found at the gas station. This made George suspect something went wrong with the plan. When George was released from prison, he immediately went to find Jimmy's brother Clyde, but Clyde said Jimmy had already moved to the countryside. This made George very frustrated. Just then there was a noise outside the door, but when George opened the door, he only saw a red shovel, but suddenly he seemed to realize something. He quickly turned around with the shovel, and went to the swing, and immediately started digging. Sure enough, there were 2 big bags of cash buried underneath. Seeing this, George couldn't help but secretly rejoice.